is yard site. We start fresh. Yud Aleph on base the two dots. Try to finish to the bottom of the Amud. A little bit complicated, but I think it'll go. Says the Gemara, Bayom Mohem, in those days, Kisheves HaMelech. It says that Achashverosh made his party Kisheves HaMelech. When he sat on the throne, it sounds like he first became the king. Uksiv Basrei, but then it says afterwards, Bishna Sholosh Lamocho, that it was in the third year of his party, third year of his reign that he made the party. How could that be? Was it the first year when he first sat on the throne, Daniel? Or was it in the what? What was it in the third year? Amar Rava, it was in the third year. Why does it say Kisheves HaMelech when he sat on the throne? Amar Rava, my Kisheves, la'achar shenisyash v'daita. The word Kisheves could also mean after his mind was calm, that the Jews were not going to be redeemed by Hashem, because we know that Yirmiyahu Hanavi had prophesied that the Jews would be redeemed. That he prophesied from Hashem, that Hashem said, "I'm going to redeem the Jews after 70 years in Babel." There's a whole question of when that 70 years started. So we're going to see in this Gemara, Belshazzar is going to figure it out, going to think that the 70 years started from when Nebuchadnezzar became king, when Babel started, and Achashverosh is going to realize he made a mistake. Everyone's going to realize because he got killed, and Achashverosh is going to make the configuration from a later date, and that's what we're going to learn today. After Achashverosh was calm, because he said, wait, my configuration of the 70 years is done. Belshazzar made a mistake, he got killed. But my configuration, according to my cheshbon, it's done, and therefore now I'm in control. Hashem's not redeeming the Jews. Amar, he said, Belshazzar figured out his calculation until he made a mistake. I made my calculation that when the 70 years are completed, Hashem says, I will remember you. So he says, Uksiv, and it's written, a second pasuk. Now I'm just going to warn you that the Rashash says that this pasuk is not in the right place. It should be at the end of the Gemara. I will read it anyway, because it's in our text, but I'm going to show you later where the Gemara, where it's supposed to be according to the Rashash, and why he takes it out, Uksiv, and it's written, Lemalos, it says, Lemalos lecharvos Yerushalayim shivim shana. When the completion of the 70 years are done, according to lecharvos Yerushalayim, after the destruction of Yerushalayim. That's pretty clear. So we're going to see later that that's really going to be the Gemara at the end, explaining why Achashverosh even made a mistake. Chashuv arba'in v'chamesh Nebuchadnezzar. So he made a cheshbon of 45 years of Nebuchadnezzar's reign. Nebuchadnezzar was king at the beginning of Babel for 45 years. So he was the first king of Babel. And 23 years of Evel Merodach, who was the king after Nebuchadnezzar. Vitarti dide, and 2 of his years, Belshazzar. So Belshazzar, who's a math guy? 45 plus 23 plus 2, 45 and 25, in other words, comes out, Hashivim, that comes out to 70. Apik money to Beit Mikdash v'shtamashbu. So Belshazzar took out the Kalim of Beis Hamikdash. That's what he was waiting for. And he was Mishtamashbu, and he used it. So now the Gemara says, wait a second, let's try to figure out if he was right, at least in Nebuchadnezzar's years. How do we know that Nebuchadnezzar was the ruler for 45 years? That he was the ruler for 45 years. It says in a Bryce in Seder Olam, there's different psukim in Navi, in Yirmiyah, in Yirmiyahu, and in Daniel. Some refer to a gullus of 7 years. Some refer to a gullus of 8 years. Some refer to a gullus of 18 years. Some refer to a gullus of 19 years. And I'm just going to give a little introduction, and then we'll be able to learn the Gemara Chick-Shak. The Gemara is going to say like this. This is a little bit of a history. Okay? Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babel. He's the first king. He fought in the first year of his reign. He overtook Nineveh and from Ashur, and he became the king. Okay? Now, follow this. In the second year of his reign, he did something known as the Kibush of Yehoiakim. Yehoiakim was the king of Klal Yisrael, and he was conquered Yehoiakim in his second year. Okay? Now, 7 years later, Yehoiakim's son, Yehoiachin, who is known also as Yechaniah, but our Gemara is calling him Yehoiachin with an N, with a Nun at the end. not Yoyakim. 7 years later was the first Gullus that Nebuchadnezzar sent up the first shift of Klal Yisrael. He sent up King Yoyachin with the Chachamim. Okay, that was the first Gullus of Klal Yisrael, known as Gullus Yehoyachin. Okay, so now let's make the cheshbon. It was 7 years after Yoyakim, the Kibush of Yoyakim happened. After the Kibush Yoyakim. The Kibush Yoyakim happened in what year of Nebuchadnezzar? The second year. So if it was 7 years after the Kibush of Yoyakim, and Yoyakim happened in the second year of Nebuchadnezzar, that means it was the 8th year of Nebuchadnezzar's rule, right? Basic math. Nebuchadnezzar's rule happened a year before Kibush Yoyakim, and 7 years after Kibush Yoyakim happened the Gullus of Yoyakim, the first Gullus. That means it was 8 years after Nebuchadnezzar. So when the pasuk references 7 and 8 years, it'll mean 7 years after the conquering of Yoyakim. That's when the Gullus of Yoyachin happened, and 8 years after Nebuchadnezzar started his reign, which was after he started his reign. Then 11 years later, Tzidkiyahu HaMelech was the king. Nebuchadnezzar made Tzidkiyahu HaMelech the king. That's when the second phase of the Gullus happened. And Nebuchadnezzar sent up the next phase, the rest of the people up to Bavel, sent them to Bavel, down to Bavel, and he destroyed the Beis HaMikdash. Now that was 11 years later. So now we just have to add 11 years to the original Gullus. This was called the Gullus of Tzidkiyahu, right? So 11 years. So it was either 18 years after the Kibush of Yoyakim, 18 years, because before it was 7 and 8 years. Now it's either 18 years after the original conquering of Yoyakim, or it was 19 years. If you're counting from when? From the Kibush of Yoyakim, it's 18 years. If you're counting from when Nebuchadnezzar became king, that's going to be 19 years. So therefore, that's why the Psukim speak about that. It speaks about 7, 8, 18, and 19. Okay? Now let's look at now we're going to see that Achashverosh was really wrong, because he thought that that's when 18 and 19 years, that's when that's when Yerushalayim was destroyed. So he thought that the 70 years started from then. We're going to find out that the 70 years, we'll see the Gemara. Okay. Says the Gemara. Let's see. Nebuchadnezzar minolan darboin mechamishnin. We're going to start from, where is it? The last two words on the line. Nebuchadnezzar minolan darboin mechamishin. How do we know that Nebuchadnezzar ruled for 45 years? Malach, that he ruled. Amar ma, golu b'shiva, it says in the Psukim, golu b'shiva, golu b'shmona. Either that there was a Gullus of Yoyachin in the 7th year or the 8th year. Golu b'shmona esrei, golu b'tisha esrei. It speaks about in the Psukim that there was a Gullus again of Tzidkiyahu in the 18th year and the 19th year. Golu, so the Gemara explains. Golu b'sheva l'kibush Yoyakim. If you're looking from the kibush, from the conquering of Yoyakim, that would be the Gullus b'sheva. 7 years later, that's when Yoyachin's Gullus happened. Gullus Yoyachin. Shishmona Nebuchadnezzar, which is 8 years after Nebuchadnezzar became king, when he took over. Galu b'shmona esrei. There was another Gullus in the 18th year, L'kibush Yoyakim, from the conquering of Yoyakim. Gullus Tzidkiyahu. That was the Gullus of Tzidkiyahu. Shein tesh shesha esrei Nebuchadnezzar, which is 19 years after Nebuchadnezzar became the what? Became king. The Amar Ma, because Mar says, Shana Rishona, in the first year when Nebuchadnezzar became the king of Bavel, Kibush Ninveh, he conquered Ninveh from Ashur. Shnia Kibush Yoyakim, in the second year he conquered Yoyakim. Uksiv, and it says, now, very good. So far, how many years do we know for sure that Nebuchadnezzar was king? The most we know was 19 years, because 19 years, it says, that's when the Gullus of Tzidkiyahu. So keep that in mind. Now it says like this. Uksiv, and it's written, another pasuk, and this pasuk is in Yirmiyah also, and it says, Vayhi, and it was. Keep the math here. Bishloshim v'sheva shana, in the 37th year, L'Gullus Yoyachin. So that would be 8 years after Nebuchadnezzar became king. 37 years later, Yoyachin Melech Yehuda, of Yoyachin, the king of Yehuda, b'shnei maseh chodesh, in the 12th month, be'esem v'chamesh chodesh, in the 25th of the 12th month, Nasa Evel Merodach Melech Bavel, Evel Merodach, the king of Bavel, picked up Pishnas Malchuso in the first year of his reign, as Rosh Yoyachin Melech Yehuda. He picked up the head of Yoyachin, the king of Yehuda, by Yotzi Osomi Beis HaKel, he took him out of jail. So therefore, it was 37 years after the Galus of Yoyachin. The Galus of Yoyachin happened how many years after Nebuchadnezzar became king? 8. You add 37 years because Nebuchadnezzar, if it's the first year of Evel Merodach, of the next king after Nebuchadnezzar, that means Nebuchadnezzar just finished his kingship. So he just finished 37 years, and 8 is 45. Timni utlasim b'sheva hari arbaim b'chamesh Nebuchadnezzar. So you have 45 years of Nebuchadnezzar. The Esrim utlas Evel Merodach. Then you have 23 of Evel Merodach, the next king. Gemara, that is a tradition. We know that to be a fact. V'tarti didei, and 2 years of Belshazzar, Hashivin, that was 70 years. Amar, he said, Hashta now vadei sulom b'frik. Now that the 70 years happened, for sure they won't be what? They won't be redeemed. Apik money de makdashav v'ashtamish behu. He took out the kelim of the Beis Hamikdash and he used them. Hainu the ka'amar le Daniel. That's what Daniel said when Belshazzar, the famous story, when Belshazzar took out the kelim of the Beis Hamikdash. So then a hand came down and wrote on the wall words that Belshazzar was very afraid of. Daniel came in and he told him what it said. And there, Daniel explained to him. And that night, Belshazzar died, as the Gemara is going to say. He says like this: "Va'almore shmaya hisromamta." Va'almore shmaya hisromamta. You put yourself above the mar shmaya, above Hashem. Ulamani dibaise. And Ulamanaya di Baise Haisiv Kadamach, and the Kalim, the Baise of his house, the Kalim of the Beis Hamikdash, Haisiv Kadamach, you had brought before you Uksiv, and therefore he got killed. Uksiv, and it says Uksibein, it says Balelia, on that night Kotel Belshazzar Malka Kastoi. Belshazzar, the king of Kastoi, got killed. Uksiv, and there is a little bit of a pasuk that we have to figure out why it says. Daryavish Mada Kibal Machusai. Daryavish, the Mada, took over the kingdom. That's good. Kfar Shnin Shisin Vitartin. And he was 62 years old. That part of the pasuk is a little bit questionable why we have to say that. What do we care if he's 16 years old? The Marsha speaks about it. So Turei Even speaks about it. So some people take out the gear. So the Turei Even says that the night that Yoyachin went to Gullus, the 8th year of Nebuchadnezzar, was also the day that their Yavish Madal was born. So if you make the cheshbon, we wanted to say in our Gemara that he was 62 years old, because if you make the cheshbon again and you figure all the years, you'll see that it was 62 years from Yoyachin's going to Gullus. So we again can make the cheshbon about all the things that we need that Nebuchadnezzar went to, that ruled for 45 years, which is important to our Gemara. Okay, says the Gemara. Amar, he said, Iu mitah. So Achashverosh said, Belshazzar was mistaken. 2 more minutes. Mitoi toi. Anoch cheshbon avalotina. I am going to make the cheshbon, and I'm not going to make a mistake. Why? Says Achashverosh, Miksiv l'malchus Bavel. It doesn't say 70 years from the beginning of Malchus Bavel, of the kingdom of Bavel. L'Bavel ksiv, 70 years from Bavel. My l'Bavel l'Golus Bavel. It means from the Golus of Bavel. Kama b'tzirin. How many years do you have to add to that? 8 years, because Belshazzar counted from the beginning of Nebuchadnezzar's reign. Says Achashverosh, no, you have to start from the first Golus of Bavel, which is Yoyachin. So how many years are missing? Timni 8. Chashiv, he figured it, calculated. Va'ayel chulufai, he put it in its place. Chada, which is Chada de Belshazzar, 1 more year of Belshazzar. Chomish to Daryavish to Koresh, 5 years of Daryavish and Koresh, who ruled after Daryavish. That's 6 years. Vitarti Didei, and 2 more years of Achashverosh, Hashiv, and that's 70. And that's why in the beginning of the 3rd year, he made a party, keeping the chazu, since he saw the Molu Shivim below Ifrik, that the 70 years was completed below Ifrik and they weren't redeemed. Amar, he said, now Klai Yisrael is not going to be redeemed. He brought out the vessels of the Beis Hamikdash, and he used them. The Satan came and danced there between them at the party. Vaharigas Vashti and killed Vashti. 1 more line, asked the Gemara, Vashaper Chashiv. Didn't Achashverosh make a good cheshbon? It says no. Iunami mitoy. He also made a mistake. Why? Because the boy he should have made the cheshbon from the Chorvos Yushalayim, not from the 8th year of Nebuchadnezzar. From 11 years later, from what? 11 years later, which was what? From the Golus of Tzidkiyahu HaMelech, and now the Rashash sticks in the pasuk from the beginning of the Gemara by 2 dots. That it uksiv lamalos l'chorvos Yushalayim, from the ruins of Yushalayim you count Shivim Shana, 70 years. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for coming.